Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and Kisma. I'm Nick, and today we're talking about meditation, and specifically, is meditation important?
Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and Kisma, bringing you ancient wisdom for modern day success so that you can have the mindset to get your life and business set.
As always, thank you for tuning in. And if you're new to the podcast, take a quick second to hit the subscribe button in iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. If you want to get the inside info for this and every episode, as well as some free gifts, go to illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. And now let's dive in to get your mindset for your life and business set. Hello, Kisma.
Hello, namaste, om.
Whew, you're blissing out.
Well, we are talking about meditation, so let's om. That's all we're going to do today, guys, is om.
I just bought an audio actually of that chanter Hein Brott.
Oh, he's so good.
He's good. Yeah, he's really good. There's some really good ones out there.
Yeah.
Not easy to find. Like he doesn't.
He's German, right?
Maybe. I can't remember
Hein
exactly.
Brott? Dude.
No, I kind of think he's actually South African.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, kind of seeing on the website, but I had to kind of hunt him down to find it. He had this amazing chant that Siobhan turned me on to. That was the Om Triumbakam. I can't remember the formal name of that chant, but I hunted it down. I had kind of a crappy recording of it, and he hadn't released a really good recording. And then just the other day, I was like, I wonder if he ever did that. And I went hunting it down, and it took a little looking, but I found it. And then I saw also he had this Om chant, and I thought, oh, that's cool. It's more of a continuous Om.
Yeah. So not the space in between.
No, not a lot of space in between.
I kind of need space in between.
Yeah.
Although that would be a good continuous Om to play in one's home.
Yeah. It just kind of keeps rolling. He's got that real rich voice, kind of like, what's his name?
The Kirtan.
Yeah, the Kirtan guy.
Krishna Das.
Yeah, Krishna Das.
Krishna Das. We want him on the podcast. I have to reach back out to his assistant.
Oh, yeah, we need to manifest.
All right, so that was a nice little spin-off.
Yeah, it's not entirely separate. Is that what we're doing? We're just going to Om the whole time?
We're going to talk.
Om.
Meditation. Meditation. Number one, I'd love to hear from all our listeners who out there meditates. Email us, info@sourcemovement.com, or better yet, go to the show notes and put your little comments, because it helps to build like some interest if you meditate, or if you find meditation frustrating. Because this is something, 2 years ago, I created a course called The Science of Meditation, something that my students love. It's a really cool course. And what I shared with them is like, look, most people will try to meditate because their neighbor, their friend, their yoga teacher, someone saying, I meditate and I'm so cool and I'm so blissed. And then they go to meditate and they get really frustrated because their mind, here's the deal, everyone, most people's minds are not ready for a true meditation.
Yep.
And a true meditation, when we go, Nick and I are kind of geeks. And when we look at the absolute teaching of meditation, it is a mantra such as Om, space for the intellect to notice the silence, and then Om. This is really a tricky thing to accomplish. And in those absolute teachings, this is what happens right before self-realization. And so as our dear teacher, Swami Parthasarathy, will teach at the Vedanta Academy, meditation is actually not a practice, it is an arrival. And that blew me away the first time I heard that.
Yeah, it flips the whole understanding,
the whole funnel
of
meditation upside down,
and everything that people think is meditation is actually the opposite of that. It's actually nothing. When they say truly no effort, it's not about just kind of not trying or anything like that.
You just pop in.
It's more about really you just arrive at it.
Yeah.
And it's a result of all the other practices that came before that lead up to that support that.
To have less agitation of the mind, to have fewer desires, so the mind has less agitation about keeping or getting more desires. Yeah. There's so much of that beautiful soul work that is done for the mind to be able to have that intellect, that subtle intellect, to focus the mind on an Om.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that is that treating meditation as a practice, and it's something that you have to, kind of work at and maybe struggle with or wrestle with a little bit to finally sort of get good at it, quote unquote, get good at it, and to actually have some quietude. It really is so upside down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so many meditation practices that are out there, just they go based on that formula, and it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not efficient. Time is of the essence. And I really mean that seriously, not just because we're busy in our lives, but because we have such short lives. Like, it's such a whisper in time that we have, and we get this one chance. Well, yeah, it's arguable, but
we get many chances.
Yeah.
However, we want the next one to be better. And that's the work we're doing right now, here.
Yeah. Without going off into the whole reincarnation thing, let's just assume that we've got our one chance here and really treat it as our one shot. Who wants to be, spending so much time with things that I want the thing that's most efficient. I want the fastest path there because, we got stuff to do and important things to do, like really important things. And I'm not talking about getting to your job and, having the next thing or whatever that is, like really important things to do, spiritual things to do, things that are here to fuel our soul and to help other people and to really serve a higher purpose.
Completely.
So it's like getting to it.
Right.
Let's get to it. That's how I think about it, because it really is so precious. So that being said, with all of that about the highest understanding of meditation and its being an arrival, you went ahead and created a meditation pod. So
what the heck? Why did I do this?
Why did you do that?
Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I've been blessedly super busy with one-on-one clients this past year, and I haven't created courses like I normally do. I haven't had as many group trainings that I usually do, and it's just been part of my process. And people show up, and if I can help them, I serve them, and that's just been kind of a shift for me. And I love creating content because there's so much that comes through my head. And when I don't have a platform to put it on, I become very congested if I don't do my work. So that's why I do my work. But what I've noticed with especially some of the business groups that I'm in, some of the spiritual groups I'm in, and just looking like, oh, it's so cute. Look at these apps on your phone for meditation and this and that. There's a lot out there that creates relaxation, and it's a good thing. It's cool to plug in and have sound going through your ears that allows your prefrontal cortex to do what it's to do. It's amazing if you can sit and breathe and focus and have some space to yourself. And yes, some of you are successful at following processes of meditation. I know that. And way to go, because I know you put some time into it. What I wanted to do was create a pod of 5 meditations that were purposeful for different aspects, because it's one thing to sit and be quiet. And it's one thing to sit and meditate for 20 minutes a day, 2 or 3 times a day. Like, good luck. And I'm not, frankly, I'm not going to sit and have someone give me a mantra that I don't know what it means and work on that. My headspace and my soul is way too important. I'm not going to do it. So I take a very strong stance with that. Be careful what people are telling you to focus on. And so it's like, what can I do? What can I create that is a type of meditation with purpose? Right? So, we're very big in the energy piece, and I wanted meditations 10 to 12 minutes that people can drop in, and there is sound, energetic movement that allows a person to solve and resolve, and often just through the intention of my work into it, and then words and guidance that allow them to focus on the solution, meditate on a solution and not on a problem. So they are guided. And so it's perfect for people that want to be able to be guided. I know I like it when I can plug in and there's a certain teacher or teachers in my ears. And again, I'm very, very picky. So I bring this because I want the energy clean and clear. I want the frequency high. And I want for whoever goes through it to have a very purposeful result. Does that make sense? I was kind of a whoo, but you asked.
I did. Yeah. I did ask, and it makes sense to me. If people have questions, they can certainly chime in with it. But at the end of the day, what I'm understanding just from your approach to it is that is to have very specific purposes for each and every one, and to have them energetically intoned and guided in order to achieve that result.
Exactly. Like one meditation is about letting go. I mean, how often do we find ourselves holding on to something and not letting go? We're like, I let go, and it percolates and shows up. Another is specific for healing. What kind of energy is to be run through for healing? And then there's brain clarity, because we talked about this in one of our recent episodes about headspace. Well, what needs to happen to get that space, that clarity? And then there's a meditation on create abundance, because I know money is a big thing for people right now. Abundance, and the universe provides. We just need to know how to direct our mind and how to direct the energy to have the consistent and the frequency of thoughts and energy running through to give us a better opportunity to actually direct the subconscious mind.
Right.
So that's what this pod is about. I'm really excited to get it out there.
Well, yeah, I'm excited. It has been a while. I didn't realize it had been that long since you've created a new program. I remember for a while you were creating courses like left and right. And that's the Illumination Academy.
That's Illumination Academy. That's what it's about. We'll have a link to my whole academy in the show notes, because there's so many cool courses in there. This is the one front and center. This is, if you've not done anything, it's so reasonable. And you want to find some clarity and you want to learn how to meditate, start here. Link in the show notes.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to go through them and just have an experience for it. Yeah. Is it something, are you putting them together? Like, are they going to be like epic, super long meditations?
No. This is for the busy human. And this is so that one can go through it and be free to go back through it and back through it and back. So you have something that you can do for 10 to 12 minutes every day to set your day straight, or to reboot in the afternoon.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's always really good.
And so that's why I created it. And then back to the whole aspect of meditation, I do think it's fascinating that in this country, there's so much around meditation. And
it's a good thing
for good reason, because it comes and it's birthed out of this whole mindfulness movement, which is important. In the United States, we're positioned to be looked at in the world, and we need to get our act together here. We really do. There's too much violence. There's too much hatred. There's too much anger, and there's too much drugs. We got to get it together, people. And it starts with each of us.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I'm preaching to the choir, because people that listen to this, you're seeking, you're on a path. I know it when you tune into our podcast.
Yeah. And you bring up a really good point, is that people are looking.
Yes.
There's 55% of our population regularly takes a prescription medication.
Yeah.
And, you can break that down a bunch of different ways. As far as like some of the repercussions of that, but there's nearly 500,000 deaths because of that, because of those medications. But one of the really important numbers around that is that there's actually 40,000 of those are from medications that were properly prescribed and properly taken.
Wow.
That's as many as there are car deaths.
That's
and
incredible.
It doesn't, and people don't like taking drugs if they don't have to. A lot of people don't. Like, they would prefer a way out of that. 55%, think about that, 55% of the population. That is a massive, massive number. And there's, they call them side effects, but they're not really side effects. They're actual effects of these drugs. And people don't feel like themselves, and they don't want to be dependent on it. And they're expensive, right? Especially if you don't have the greatest insurance. So they're looking for other means to do that. And meditation is one that people really go to. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And we're not here Western medicine has done amazing things, and has some of the pharmaceuticals. Are not here to say, stop taking your prescription drugs. Please don't do that through this podcast. Yet I think you bring up a good point, for people who are looking for a way to be less stressed, and they find it through a prescription drug and then they're like, but it doesn't feel right. It's not what I want.
I don't feel like myself.
Yeah. And they want that organic nature. This is a great place to start.
It is. Yeah. And there's a lot of things out there, and this is the upgraded version.
Yeah.
You know, there are a ton of things out there and they're really nice, and lots of them are free. You know, you can go find all kinds of free stuff. If you want the real deal, it's like get the best. And this is the upgraded version. Why is it upgraded? It's because if I know Kisma, it's got a really clear intention behind it.
Yes, every meditation will have a very clean and clear intention.
Right. And you'll feel good, but it's not fluffy, like, let's all just kind of bliss out on some fairy dust. You know, like I know that that's not what you do. And it's really about bringing people into a frequency and a vibration that will serve their life in a really beautiful way. And it comes back to that, again, that we talked about it in one of the previous episodes, of the moral obligation to really care for yourself and take best care of yourself. And you do that, number one, by taking care of your energy so that you have the energy to do what you're here to do, and making sure you clean up your mind.
Right.
And I'm going to go off on a little bit of a rant on this one.
Nick rant.
Because when your mind is a mess, you know, if you've ever felt like negative, if you've ever had like a lot of like kind of a battle going on in your head of, well, what should I do or where should I go? And you get stuck in indecision. If you ever find yourself looping around thoughts and thoughts again and again, all these things, it's basically like energetic pollution.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And so you think that it's only in your head, but it's actually going out and getting on everybody around you.
Well, it's also in the field, on the body. I mean, in our emotions. You know, whenever we're having, at least I know, and I share with my clients and students all the time, when we're having a funky day, check what you're thinking.
Yeah,
look at what's going through your thoughts.
Yeah, and it is like a pollution or an infection. Like you can infect other people with your negative thoughts. Because I'll bet everybody out there listening, at one point or another, you've been infected by somebody else's.
You felt that, right? It's something sticking on your field or getting on you. And you're like, what is this? And you'll realize it's not your stuff.
Yeah. It could have been your parents that, you know, told you something when you were a kid. It could have been that person that you just met 5 minutes ago that just said something really off. And you're like, dude, what's up with that? You know, I want that off me.
Right.
But it's basically like an infection.
Right.
So if you want to be part of the solution, you must clean up your energy and you must clean up your mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't mean to go off on a rant, but it's really important. Like, it's actually critical.
And through cleaning up energy and mind, you're more resilient.
Exactly.
So that when something of someone else's gets on you, you're more aware. When you're in a state of just being self-absorbed or selfish, or you're more aware, you're like, wait a minute, do I want to be here? No, I'm going to pivot out of it.
Yeah.
You know, our awareness, and we always talk about this, is so much stronger when our energy and our headspace is clean and clear.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was just a conversation that the two of us were having, or if we had it on the podcast. But here in Southern California, they're pretty environmentally conscious.
True.
And there's a reason for that, especially in LA, because of how the ocean is positioned and the valley, and then there's the mountains, and that pollution just sticks there. It just stays there. And there's a lot of people there. So you could go out and the pollution became a real problem, and you can actually see it in the air, and they could see it. And they're like, we got to do something about this.
Right.
So they did something about it. Right. So that's why that became a really important part of the conversation.
Right.
Your thoughts, your energy carries the same pollutants. You just can't see, right? It's
but
not
you'll
something
feel it.
But you'll feel it.
Yeah.
Some people can see it.
Right.
And those people have
see it in
a
the
whole
field.
other, they have a whole other set of challenges.
Right.
But it's the same exact situation. And that's why it needs to become a priority. I'm passionate about it because this is the way, if, you know, you talked about the conflict that we have in our country, really truly wanting to be the leaders that we're here to be.
Right.
And cleaning up the conflict, the division, the hatred, the violence.
Right.
The division is the biggest one. It's like it seems like there's so many people that are just gunning for an argument.
Right.
And all of those things, if you really think about it like smog, what's cool about that is that it's actually easy to clean up. it's super easy to clean up your space. It is not difficult. And that's, if I understand correctly, that's, you can,
absolutely.
That's why you created this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that to me is super exciting because it just makes it easy, and you can even put it on autopilot.
Yeah. And, and then through a system like this, it is like a practice. I like to call it like a hygiene, it's like a mental hygiene to get your head set.
Like brushing your brain.
Brush your brain, get your head put on straight because I know, when I work with CEOs or VPs that come in, it's like they're just looking to get their head straight.
Yeah.
They don't care what I do. They don't care like energy, whatever, just get my head on straight. They know that they've got to be clear in order to make a decision, to feel confident. And so if there's a bunch of smog in their head, in their field, they know it. And just like all of us, no matter what we do, we could be the CEO of our family or our own business or whatever. We've got to be clear.
Yeah. I like, what's cool about that is that they prioritize it.
Yeah.
And they know that I just got to get my head straight. And I think the reason that it really is loud for many of them is because they're responsible.
Right.
They're responsible for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Just like people are responsible for their families.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, how much faster do we snap at our kids or our spouse when we're not feeling like ourselves? And when we have someone else's stuff on us, we are going to snap faster. And that's a sad thing because it's like, oh, that didn't really come from me, my full potential. That came from some stuff that I took on and I didn't take the time to clean it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's such a great place to bring it to, is it doesn't come from your full potential.
Right.
It's more to say that everybody has that. Like everybody has a full potential state and it's not as far away as you think.
Right, exactly.
It's not some unattainable goal. It's actually something that you can embody. And that's exactly why tools like this are so helpful.
Well, it's right there. I mean, our full potential higher self is a version of us, right? It's a version of us, you could say, at a higher dimension and accessible.
Yeah.
And that's what, I always imagine step into that version, and it becomes a choice. And the cleaner and clearer and more resolved we are, the easier it is.
Yeah.
Because we're less affected by the world. We're less in the future with worry and anxiety. We're less in the past with regret. We're present. We're here. We're ready to express, create, and manifest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super exciting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really, really cool. Well, if somebody's interested in this, where can they get it?
Go to the show notes. We'll have a link there. And there's a special offer at the Meditation Pod, 5 meditations, very purposeful, for, I think it's just $27.
Yeah,
it's like a couple of lattes from Starbucks. And this is something that you'll be able to use, come back to. It's set up in the Illumination Academy. Super easy to get access to. So check out the show notes. Excited about it.
Will they be able to download them?
Yeah, you can download and just have it. I always create my trainings like that. If you invest, you get the training for life.
Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm, so you can download it. You can put it on all of your...
Put it on your devices, walk around with it, sit, but you might not... you can with some of them. But again, this is it's the brain scrub. It's the soul scrub. It's the place to get started if you're interested in... like we were talking about before, just life purpose, feeling more aligned, having less stress, and using what's organically that divine essence.
Yeah.
Without going into too much of external, running the energy that is really potent and purposeful and all in line with your highest and best.
And just in case somebody's listening from iTunes or SoundCloud or Stitcher, or I think we're on Spotify.
We are on Spotify.
That's so exciting. What would be the URL? Where do they go?
Yeah, go to kismaawake.com. That's my website, kismaawake.com. So KISMAAWAKE.com /meditation-pod.
kismaawake.com/meditation-pod. And that'll take you right there.
Yeah, you can purchase $27, easy go. And it's, special offer up for a bit. So get it now.
Yeah, now is the time. But yeah, I think that's awesome. Like what a cool tool to have.
It's going to be great.
And something that you'll have, for the rest of your life. I know that just really good things like that I've come across, they've hung around for a long time. And I'm super excited to experience your upgraded version.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be Ninja. All right, guys. And, in the meantime, let's think of it this way. Whether we meditate now or whether we're simply listening to music, the most important thing is to really seek that highest and best version of ourselves. And so whatever tools we use, this is a tool I recommend, but it's going to start with intention.
Yeah.
And to stay in the present, focus on the higher, redirect the life to the higher, because what we focus on, we become.
I couldn't have said it better myself. If you found value in this, give us a like, give us a share, post a review. All those things help people to find us. And we so appreciate your support. It's the most amazing thing to have all of you out there listening and interacting with the show. And so thank you, first and foremost. And if you found value in it, please share it.
Yes.
Maybe somebody else could use a little meditation in their life and they're sick of you telling them they should meditate, so they can hear it from somebody else. And, maybe that'll be the voice that helps them to take action on it. And maybe it's just for you. But thank you so much for liking and sharing and commenting and everything like that. And thank you more than anything for being you.
Namaste.
Peace.
Hey, thanks for jamming with us today. And if you enjoy Illumination Podcast, please go ahead and share it with someone you love. Give us a rating, review, download our podcast. And remember, you can find us at illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. Talk to you soon. Namaste.